Most of you won't recognize me or my real name. It's Norma McCorvey. I'm also known as Jane Roe, the plaintiff in the Supreme Court case, Roe v. Wade, which legalized abortion in America and changed our nation in an unprecedented way. Back in 1973, I was a very confused 21-year-old with one child and facing an unplanned pregnancy. At the time, I fought to obtain a legal abortion, but the truth be told, I have 3 daughters and have never had an abortion. However, upon knowing God, I realized that my case, which legalized abortion on demand, was the biggest mistake of my life. You see, abortion has eliminated 50 million innocent babies in the U.S. alone since 1973. Abortion scars an untold number of post-abortive mothers, fathers, and families too. You read about me in history books, but now I'm dedicated to spreading the truth about preserving the dignity of all human life, from natural conception to natural death.
Your baby has fingernails. Pro-life. This is a metaphor. Pro-life. Abortion is murder.
Hey Casey, did you know that was the woman who was pregnant with her 3rd child and wanted an abortion? But because she wasn't raped and the child wasn't a result of incest, she could not legally obtain an abortion in the state of Texas?
Yeah, Yarrow. Wasn't she the one who created the whole landmark case of Roe v. Wade? We should look up some more information about this case. Personally, I'm pro-choice.
Me too, but it looks like Norma McCorvey, aka Roe, changed her mind to pro-life since she was the focal point of the 1973 case.
Let's go a little more in depth about this case. It was originally a 7-2 ruling in favor of the right to privacy of a woman's decision for an abortion. So it seemed like Roe got her wish in what she was fighting for, until now at least.
This ruling came to be under the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. Roe's lawyers, Sarah Weddington and Linda Coffey, must have been da bomb at their jobs. They were probably also large proponents of the feminist movement and the sexual revolution of the 1960s.
Word up! I guess the Dallas County District Attorney Henry Wade just couldn't keep the restrictions as strict as he wanted to. This important case ruled unconstitutional state law that banned abortions except to save the life of the mother in extreme cases.
More specifically, it ruled that states were forbidden to outlaw or regulate any aspect of abortion during the 1st trimester. The states were only able to make laws protecting the life of a fetus in the 3rd trimester.
This case was actually ruled on the same day as Doe v. Bolton, which challenged the Georgia law and removed the conditional restrictions of the law, which were cases of rape, severe fetal deformity, and the possibility of severe or fatal injury to the mother.
And weren't there some other related cases since then that have been decided? Like Harris v. McRae in 1980, Webster v. Reproductive Health Services in 1989, and Planned Parenthood of Southeastern Pennsylvania v. Casey in 1992.
All 3 of these cases have had huge impacts on the ongoing issue of pro-choice versus pro-life. The first one, Harris v. McRae, had to do with the Hyde Amendment, which restricted the use of federal funds for abortion. The second one, Webster v. Reproductive Health Services, was about the Missouri law about a fetus having the same rights as a person. And lastly, the Planned Parenthood v. Casey, a local one to us, upheld the state regulation of laws about the rights to have an abortion.
I've seen a bunch of people protesting outside of Planned Parenthood, so this case is definitely still relevant. Did you know, in addition to political arenas, confrontations over abortions take place on a regular basis in many communities outside of clinics that offer abortion services. Those who are against abortion often stage protests outside of clinics, and those who support abortion rights volunteer to escort patients who might otherwise be discouraged from entering the clinics as a result of protests.
Some extreme opponents of abortion feel so strongly that abortion is wrong that they advocate the killing of doctors who perform abortions. On the other side, some advocates of abortion rights argue that abortion opponents who threaten women or their doctors should be treated like terrorists because they advocate violence and attempt to intimidate people from exercising their constitutional rights. I think that people who advocate killing abortion doctors are working directly against their cause of the right of life.
I think that women and people should be able to choose and not have any outside interference because their decision on abortion does not affect anyone else.
Maybe more updates will happen the next time we revisit the case.
Ready? Not so breaking news of April 21st, 2014. We are revisiting the case of Roe v. Wade, which was the first major Supreme Court decision that ruled definitively on ethics, religion, and biology, and greatly impacted our society.
Since then, new updated cases have emerged, including the 2000 case of Stenberg versus Carhart that determined partial birth abortion was illegal without regard for health of the mother. And in 2005, the Ayotte versus New Hampshire case involved a challenge to New Hampshire's parental notification abortion law. The First Circuit had ruled that the law was unconstitutional and an injunction against enforcement was proper. Even more recently, in 2012, 9 states enacted fetal pain laws that prohibit abortions at 20 weeks or earlier because of the theory that at 20 weeks the fetus has developed pain sensors.
How do people feel about the decision now? According to this May 2009 Gallup poll, 37% of Americans believe abortion should be legal in any or most circumstances. And in October 2007 Harris poll, 56% of people indicated that they were in favor of the decision in Roe v. Wade.
We both agree with the ruling of this case of privacy for women and believe strongly in the right to choose as women ourselves. There is a great likelihood of this case being revisited because it is an issue that has very strong opinions on both sides. However, I don't think there's a large chance of it being overturned because it is such a landmark case that many others have been built off of.
Join us next time for a special sports update with Maddie.